Somewhere in Canada this weekend, a parent is kneeling on a beach towel at a lake in Ontario, or in a backyard in Calgary, or on a dock in Nova Scotia. And they are doing the one thing every Canadian parent is told to do before the kids run into the sun. They squeeze a thick line of sunscreen into one hand, and they rub it across a small back, small shoulders, a small nose, little arms that will not stay still. They do it fast because the child is already running, and they straighten up feeling like they just did the single most responsible thing of the day. They protected their kid. What they do not know is what is actually inside the bottle, because here is what nobody at the drugstore is telling Canadian parents. In this country, sunscreen is not a cosmetic. It is legally a drug. Health Canada regulates it, and yet the chemical filters inside most of the bottles on the shelf were never proven safe to absorb into the body. In 2020, the United States FDA ran its own controlled study published in the journal JAMA. It found that the common chemical sunscreen filters soaked through the skin and into the bloodstream. One of them, oxybenzone, showed up in people's blood at levels more than 500 times the threshold the FDA had set for safety review, and it stayed there for days, more than 500 times, on a chemical we spray and rub onto our children every summer day. 7 brands exposed. 3 Canadian brands worth your money. And brand number 2? A children's sunscreen that was pulled off Canadian shelves by Health Canada itself for a known carcinogen. That story is coming. Don't skip ahead. This is the True North shelf, where the labels get read so the truth gets told. Let's dive in. Before the brands, 2 things every Canadian parent needs to understand about the kids' sunscreen aisle. First, a child's skin is not a smaller version of yours. It is thinner, more permeable, and a child has far more surface area for every pound of body weight. Pediatric dermatologists warn that this means a child absorbs more of whatever you put on them, pound for pound, than an adult does. That is why the Canadian Pediatric Society says, in plain language, that sunscreen is not recommended for babies under 6 months at all. For the youngest children, the advice is not a better sunscreen. It is shade, a hat, loose clothing, and staying out of the midday sun. Second, only 2 sunscreen ingredients have ever been called clearly safe and effective. When the FDA reviewed every active filter on the market in 2019, only 2 were rated generally safe and effective: zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. The mineral filters. The chemical filters, oxybenzone, octinoxate, homosalate, octocrylene, avobenzone, all of them were sent back for lack of safety data. Europe did not wait. It cut the legal limit on homosalate and on oxybenzone over hormone disruption concerns. And one honest note, so you hear it from me first. In December 2025, Health Canada did update its sunscreen rules, but that update added a newer filter to the approved list. It did not ban oxybenzone. In Canada, in 2026, these chemical filters are still legal, still on the shelf, still in the kids' aisle. A child who absorbs more, an ingredient never proven safe to absorb, and a label that still does not warn you. Keep all 3 in mind. Brand number 1. And this one sets the bar for the entire category. Umbrella Kids. The Wet and Protect Lotion, SPF 60, owned by Garnier, which is owned by L'Oreal, the largest cosmetics company in the world. Umbrella feels like a Canadian institution. It is stocked at every Shoppers Drug Mart and Walmart in the country, and parents reach for it precisely because it looks like the serious, high-protection dermatologist choice. Now read the active ingredients. Homosalate, octocrylene, oxybenzone, octisalate, avobenzone. That is a chemical filter stack on a product made for children that still includes oxybenzone, the exact filter the FDA study found at 500 times the safety threshold in human blood, and the exact filter Europe cut its limits on. The SPF 60 on the front does not tell you that. The back does. Brand number 2. And this one is the centerpiece. Neutrogena Beach Defense Kids, the SPF 60 spray, made by Johnson & Johnson. On July 17, 2021, Health Canada announced a recall. Johnson & Johnson was pulling several of its aerosol sunscreens off Canadian shelves. The reason, in Health Canada's own words, was elevated levels of benzene, a chemical that can cause cancer with long-term, repeated exposure. And on that recall list was this exact product, a spray sunscreen, marketed for kids. Let that land. This is not a lab estimate. This is not a lawsuit. This is the Canadian government itself, removing a children's sunscreen from Canadian stores because independent testing found a known carcinogen inside it. Benzene was not an intended ingredient. It was a contamination problem, concentrated by the aerosol spray format, which is the whole point. The spray you use because it is fast, because it is easy on a squirming kid, is exactly the format that gave us this recall. When you can spray it, you can inhale it, and you can hide a contaminant in it. That is brand number 2. Brand number 3 is Coppertone Kids, the SPF 70 lotion. Coppertone is one of the most trusted sun care names in North America, and the Kids line is a Canadian drugstore staple. Read the actives: avobenzone, homosalate, octosalate, octocrylene, and oxybenzone at 6%. There is the oxybenzone again. And there is a second trick on this one right on the front. SPF 70. Because SPF 50 already blocks about 98% of UVB rays. The jump from 50 to 70 is almost nothing in real protection, but it sells a feeling of more, and it can make a parent reapply less often, believing they have longer to spare. The big number is marketing. The oxybenzone is chemistry. Brand number 4 is Banana Boat Kids, the tear-free continuous spray, SPF 50. Another spray, another kids line. Read the actives: avobenzone, homosalate, octinoxate at 7.5%, octosalate, octocrylene. Octinoxate is another chemical filter flagged in the research for hormone-related concerns, and Hawaii actually banned it from sale over reef and health worries. Now, one honest clarification, because this channel always gives it to you straight. Banana Boat did have a benzene recall, but that was a different product, a hair and scalp spray, not this kid's product. So Banana Boat Kids is on this list for being a fully chemical aerosol with octinoxate, not for the benzene recall. The label is the reason. Read it. If this investigation is useful to you, do one thing right now. Subscribe. Not later, now, and hit the like button. Here is the honest reason why. The algorithm only shows this kind of reporting to Canadians when enough of you subscribe and engage. If you want more Canadian parents to know what is on the back of the bottle before the next long weekend, the single most powerful thing you can do is subscribe to this channel. The next 3 brands? You have probably bought at least one of them, believing it was the gentle choice. Brand number 5 is Equate Kids, the continuous spray SPF 50, Walmart's own house brand. This one is here to teach you a specific lesson, because Equate is a real trap. The Equate Kids lotion is actually a mineral formula. Good. But the Equate Kids spray, the convenient one, the one you grab without thinking, runs on chemical filters, including oxybenzone at 5%. Same brand, same kids label, same shelf. 2 completely different formulas. The lotion and the spray are not the same product wearing different lids. This is exactly why you cannot trust the front of the bottle, or even the brand. You have to read the actual actives, every single time. Brand number 6 is Coppertone Water Babies, the SPF 50. The chemical version of Water Babies is built on avobenzone, homosalate, octosalate, and octocrylene. And look at the name, Water Babies. The single softest, most reassuring name in the entire sunscreen aisle, designed to feel like the safe one for the littlest skin, on a fully chemical formula. There is also a separate pure and simple mineral version of Water Babies, so name the exact one in your hand. But the gut punch here is the branding. The gentler the name on the front, the more carefully you need to read the back. Brand number 7 is Sunbum Kids, the SPF 50. And this one is on the list for a different reason. Not a recall. Not oxybenzone. The image. Sunbum sells itself as the fun, beachy, reef-friendly, natural-feeling brand, the one that looks like the conscious choice on the shelf. But the kids' formula is fully chemical. Avobenzone, homosalate, octosalate, octocrylene. No mineral filters at all. It is a clean reminder that reef-friendly and natural are marketing words, not ingredient lists. In Canada, the word natural on a sunscreen has no binding legal definition. A brand can sell you a beach vibe and a chemical filter stack in the same bottle and break no rule. 7 brands. A recall on a children's spray. Oxybenzone on 3 separate kids' products. And a category where only 2 filters were ever called clearly safe. Read the back, not the front. But kids' sunscreen does not have to be complicated. The 2 safest filters in the world are minerals, zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. They sit on top of the skin and reflect the sun, instead of soaking into a child's bloodstream. So here are 3 Canadian brands that build their kids' sunscreen the right way. Hero number 1. Attitude. This is the pick. A company headquartered in Montreal, Quebec, that makes its products in its own facility near Montreal. Its baby and kids mineral sunscreen is built on non-nano zinc oxide, with no chemical filters at all. It carries the EWG Verified mark, the strict certification from the Environmental Working Group, which is the closest thing North America has to a trusted clean products seal. Canadian-made, mineral, and independently verified. That is the trifecta no brand on the avoid list can touch. Hero number 2. Green Beaver. A family company in Hawkesbury, Ontario, proudly made in Canada. Its kids' mineral sunscreen lotion uses zinc oxide and titanium dioxide as its only filters. No oxybenzone, no octinoxate, no chemical stack. For the parent who wants a mineral lotion from a homegrown Ontario brand, this is it. Hero number 3 is for the Canadian who wants to keep it as simple and as local as possible. Substance, from the Matter Company. Made in Canada, with a baby sun care formula built on non-nano zinc oxide. A small, clean, Canadian-made mineral option for the littlest skin. One honest note across all 3. Minerals are the safest filters we have, but no mineral product is perfectly guaranteed nano-free. So for a young baby, the real first line is still shade, clothing, and a hat. These are the best bottles. They are not a replacement for the shade. Sunscreen for a child should be one of the simplest decisions a Canadian parent makes. Reflect the sun, protect the skin. Do not soak chemicals into a body that absorbs more than yours does. But somewhere between the lab and the Shoppers Drug Mart shelf, certain brands made it complicated. Chemical filters never proven safe to absorb. Aerosol sprays that gave us a benzene recall on a kid's product. And soft, gentle, natural-sounding names on the front, written to keep you from reading the back. So here is how to check your child's sunscreen in 5 seconds. Flip the bottle over and find the active ingredients box. If you see oxybenzone, octinoxate, homosalate, octocrylene, or avobenzone, that is a chemical sunscreen. Put it back. What you want to see instead is short and simple. Zinc oxide, titanium dioxide, the minerals. And if you can, skip the spray for a young child and choose the lotion. And remember the rule the pediatricians keep repeating. The best sunscreen for the youngest kids is not a bottle at all. It is shade, a hat, clothing, and staying out of the midday sun. Under 6 months, no sunscreen without a doctor's advice. If this video helped you, do 3 things. Subscribe to the True North shelf, hit the like button, and the full source list, every study, every recall, every ingredient list is linked in the description below. This is the True North shelf. Stay safe, stay educated. Thanks for watching.